All right, guys, we're going over to YouTube. So you guys probably won't be able to hear me on TikTok because I'm going to be playing this shit on YouTube.
But you can see I'm having trouble finding it here. Instead, you can hit Control and then backtick on your keyboard, or Command and then backtick on your keyboard, and it should open up a terminal directly inside of this folder that you opened for you. Now, if that's difficult for you, you can hit Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P if you're on Mac, and you can type terminal and then create new terminal, and then just choose one of the instances.
Hold on. I'm trying to find my chat for YouTube. What the heck is going on here? Is anybody in my live that's in here? Wow, I actually might freaking call it right now. I feel like that much like shit. Yeah, it's not good. It just hit me, babe. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I can't find my YouTube chat. Where is it? Where are you? It is nowhere. Yeah, I joined. Okay, cool. I don't know where the chat is. I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm going to jump off of here. All right. So let's figure out how to open up this chat really quick.
Instances, so Command Prompt or PowerShell. If you're on Mac or Linux, again, you just choose probably the first one that pops up. Or Power, then backtick. Instead, you can hit Control and then backtick on your keyboard, or Command and then backtick on your keyboard, and it should open up a terminal on your. I'm due to open the terminal is you can try to find kind of like a drag bar at the bottom of the screen, but you can see I'm having trouble finding it here. Instead, you can hit Control and then backtick on your keyboard, or Command and then backtick on your keyboard, and it should open up a terminal directly inside of this folder that you opened for you. Now, if that's difficult for you, you can hit Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P if you're on Mac, and you can type terminal and then create new terminal, and then just choose one of the instances, so Command Prompt or PowerShell. If you're on Mac or Linux, again, you just choose probably the first one that pops up. So let's say I do that, and you can see it makes a new terminal for me, and I'll be able to see it on my screen. Now, if you want to see the left-hand sidebar, which is the file viewer, you can press this button right here. Again, this is in Cursor, but you can do this in another editor as well. And you'll be able to now see all of the files that Claude Code will generate for us in 1 minute. Now, again, if you can't find this button, you can hit Control-B or Command-B on your keyboard, and that will toggle the file view on the left-hand side. Now, I know it seems complicated, but most of the time you're going to want to work like this because you want to see the files and actually know what Claude Code is doing. Especially if you're unfamiliar with the terminal, I would highly suggest opening this in some kind of user interface like we've done here so you actually know what's going on. Okay, so now we're inside of a terminal. This is the exact same environment I was just showing you before, except it's now in this code editor, right? And again, this code editor is called Cursor. In case anyone is confused, if you just go, you can type Cursor, download on the internet, and you can download it super easily.
There we go.
Just open it up, and literally all you have to do is just go File, Open Folder, open a new location, and you can start writing code. So from this terminal, we're going to type Claude. Now, when we type Claude, it's going to open up Claude Code just like it did before, but now in this location. So same thing, I'm going to trust the folder, and now I have Claude Code in my terminal, and I can start getting it to actually generate some stuff. So now we're going to actually start using it. We're going to start building a project, and I'm going to start walking through a lot of the features that it has. Now you'll actually notice that because I'm using it in this editor now, it's detected that, and it's telling me that I can actually have some special features here in Claude Code because I'm working in Cursor. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and press enter, and now we can just start working. But again, it's going to be able to reference the files that we're actually looking at in Cursor. It's going to show us the changes that it's making. It's very powerful. All right, so without further ado, let's get this to do something. And let's say that we just want to create a simple web-based game. Let's go with something really, really simple for right now, like maybe tic-tac-toe, and just ask it to make that game. So I'm going to say make tic-tac-toe that I can play on the web. Okay, and I'm going to start going through all of the other configurations and settings, but for now, let's just run this so we can see some kind of output and know that we're actually getting some result. Okay, so you can see that it's going to start doing this and generating some output. Now, something worth noting here is that if you wanted to, you actually could run Claude Code multiple times in parallel. So while I was creating tic-tac-toe, for example, I could create another game, I could audit the code base, I could, change something, whatever. And that's one of the things that makes this quite powerful. I'm not going to do that right now because, again, we're still at the beginner level, but you get the idea. Okay, so you can see that it's generated some code for me here. It's kind of giving it right in the terminal, and it's asking me to allow it to create tic-tac-toe. Now, what I'm going to do is just go here, and I'm going to go, yes, allow all edits during the session, and notice I'm using my arrow keys here to navigate. So I'm going to press enter so that I can just go ahead and start writing this without asking me for permission. Okay, so you can see that it says it has created this for me, and it's telling me that the way that I can run this is to start the tic-tac-toe.html or double click the file in the file explorer. So I'm just going to say start tic-tac-toe.html. I'm not sure if that's actually the correct command, but let's just run that and see if that's going to do anything for me. It says open it in the default browser, yes, and don't ask again for this. And let's see if it can open this up for me and I can run it.
It opened it.
Okay, and you can see this is my browser, and we have tic-tac-toe, which has now been created, which looks pretty good. We can generate a new game. You get the idea. Now, the one thing that I want to bring your attention to here is that as soon as we started running this, a .claude folder was automatically created for us in the directory where we're working, as well as the code that was generated, right? So you can see tic-tac-toe now has been written. So this is pretty cool, and this is the reason why you would do this inside of a code, as well as the code that was generated, right? So you can see.
Let me pull up the chat just in case people are in here. I don't know if they are, but let me see. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go to one of my pages and just go over here. I doubt that anybody's in here because I don't have a following on here, but let's see. Accounts, let's go to another account and then click into here. Mike Cicerone live pages and just oh, there's two people in here. Cool. I doubt that anybody's in here. Yeah. Relentless. What's up, man? Yeah, I'm just trying to learn the basics right now. That's my goal, right? The goal is just to learn the basics. I'm trying, Manny. I'm trying.
Tic-tac-toe now has been written. So this is pretty cool, and this is the reason why you would do this inside of a code editor, so you're able to actually see the changes in the code that's being generated in real time. Again, you don't need to do that, but that's what many people like to do when they're using a tool like this. Okay, so we've got something created. Now we need to start going through a lot of the different configuration and setups. Now keep in mind, if you don't know how to do something.
So let me see. So did it create its own folder for me? So yeah, I guess that is the tic-tac-toe folder. So if I go right here, I can rename it, I'm guessing. Rename it tic-tac-toe. So now that's going to be in my local folder. And every time I want to go play tic-tac-toe or go to that file, I can go on the left-hand side folder, and that will give me that prompt.
Just ask Claude to help you. It can help you. It can change configurations. It can set stuff up for you. But of course, it's useful to know the basics. So inside of here, as you already saw, you can just type human language, and you will get some output. However, you can also type /help. Let's start with that. And this is going to give you a general kind of...
What I actually love about YouTube is that I can show you guys what I'm watching, and I can show you guys what we're doing together, because I'm here most of my nights. I'm sitting right here and I'm learning all of this stuff. I'm learning all the new trends. I'm learning all the new technology, and I'm utilizing it towards my businesses, new startups, new ideas. And I'm always willing and looking to create, to build my network, right? Join the Discord. Let's get the Discord popping. So like, that's going to be the overall goal. I saw something the other day where someone was like, dude, go live an hour a day and your life will change. Now, I tend to agree with that, especially if you have a product or something that you're working towards that people can relate to and all work towards together. So if we all learn AI together or learn business together or whatever it is that you're in here for, that creates value. That's great.
Kind of shortcut or list of commands and things you can do in Claude. So you can see that I can toggle between a few different things here, and you'll notice that if I put an exclamation point, this is going to put me in bash mode. If I do a slash, this is going to allow me to type different commands.
Okay, got it.
If I do an @ this is going to allow me to reference various files or paths. If I do an ampersand, this is going to be for background tasks or keybinds or whatever that says. I think so.
Oh, I need to rewind that. Sorry.
Some output. However, you can also type /help. Let's start with that. Okay. And this is going to give you a general kind of shortcut or list of commands and things you can do in Claude. So you can see that I can toggle between a few different things here, and you'll notice that if I put an exclamation point, this is going to put me in bash mode. If I do a slash, this is going to allow me to type different commands. If I do an @ this is going to allow me to reference various files or paths. If I do an ampersand, this is going to be for background tasks or keybinds or whatever that says. I think so. For background, new line. Not exactly sure what that means, actually. I've never used the
Guys,
ampersand.
The goal here
Continuing,
is to
we go to commands,
AI
and if I scroll down here, you can see there's a ton of different commands that I can run. We cannot possibly go over all of them in this video, but I will show you a bunch of them that are useful. So if you're ever like, how do I do something? Or I wonder what's possible, type /commands, and you can see a bunch of stuff pops up, and you're probably going to learn something just by looking through this menu. And then custom commands, of course, you can make your own commands. We're not going to go over that right now. Okay, so first thing that you want to be aware of is the different modes that you can use inside of Claude Code. You can have a planning mode, you can have an asking mode, and you can have a coding mode. Now, the ask mode is the default mode where it's going to ask you before it does something. So you can see it asked before it generated a command. It asked before it wrote code, right? The code mode is just going to code by default. It's not going to ask you for permission. And the planning mode is going to create a detailed plan that Claude will follow so that it has a little bit more structure. In order to change the mode, you can hit Shift and then Tab on your keyboard. So Shift and Tab, you can see it showing Shift Tab to cycle. We have plan mode, we have the normal mode, right, which is this, and then we have the coding mode, which is kind of accept edits on. So here, planning mode, right, accept edits, it's just going to do the thing. And then the ask mode is the default mode where it's not showing you anything there. Again, to do that is Shift and then Tab. Now, if you want to see the shortcuts, you can type, again, the question mark, and you can see the different shortcuts that you can use, and it will start showing you all of the different ones that you can put directly inside.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so that is how you change the mode. So the first mode that I want to change into is the planning mode, and I want to show you a few other shortcuts. Let's say you write something super long here, and you don't want to have to just like erase all of it. Well, what you can do is hit escape twice on your keyboard, so escape, escape, and that's going to clear whatever is currently inside of this window, so escape, escape. If you want to go back to the previous thing that you typed, you can use the up arrow key. So you can actually toggle through the previous commands you ran by using the up and the down arrow keys in your terminal.
Cool.
There's actually more shortcuts that exist there, but if you just want to cycle through the previous commands in case you're repeating something, you don't need to type it again. You can just cycle with the up and the down arrow key. Now, another thing worth noting is that sometimes you want to actually create a line break in the prompt. So for example, I have like hello, and then I want to go down to the next line,
so just
right?
say
I don't want to press enter, because if I press enter, it's going to submit the command, but I want to move actually down and have like kind of multiple lines. So in order to do that, you hit the Alt or the Option key, and then you just press enter. So you can see that what I did on my keyboard here is I just pressed Alt. So I'm holding Alt on Windows. If you're on Mac, it might be Option. And then I press enter, and I can actually go down to the next line so that I can have things on multiple lines. And then again, I can clear that by hitting escape twice. So again, that's Alt or Option. You hold that down and then press Enter. Okay, cool. So we're in the planning mode now. We've learned the commands. We have a general kind of lay of the land when it comes to using this. And we have to first decide what it is that we actually want to create. So the most important part about AI coding is actually knowing what you want. If you don't know what you want and you let the agent steer you, you're going to get horrible, crazy results that take you forever to debug and change. But if you're very clear and specific on what you want and you have it do one small task at a time, you can get fantastic results and create amazing stuff. So this is just a tutorial. I don't have anything crazy that I want to build, but I definitely still want to come up with a plan for what.
Are you done? So I just put it right in the terminal? This way you don't need to know and consume all this data, brain rot. Instead, do this. Have Grok hit Claude accountable. So have Grok hold Claude accountable. Huh.
Or what it is that I want to do. So I always start in the plan mode.
From Grok and put it into Claude?
And what I'm going to do is actually stream my thoughts into Claude and ask it to come up with a plan to create this project. I don't need to know the code base. I don't need to know the languages. I don't need to have done research. It's obviously helpful if you do those things, but if you just want to start completely from scratch, we can do that. So let's just stream our thoughts. In order to do that, I'm actually going to use a dictation tool on my computer called Whisper Flow. So rather than typing, I'm going to speak into my mic. I want to create a simple
whatever. I'm going to speak into my mic. Well, I'm going to type based on my goals. All right, cool. So let's go over to Grok. Can I put it right into the Claude terminal? Let's see what happens with that. I want you to be Horizon HVAC CEO and run my day-to-day operations that can be in more work and scale me to 20 years so I can sell to private equity. No, this is definitely interesting, no doubt, but just know that there are dozens of this guy. And you want to ask us all of them total. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. There's another guy that I watched too. So let's see what this says, right? I pretty much just said, I want you to be Horizon HVAC CEO and run my day-to-day operations that can bring me to a scalable point to bring to private equity, because that is the goal. All right, so it basically said, before I build the operation, I need to know exactly where you are. Answer these facts. So it's asking what my current annual revenue is, how many techs are in the field. Wow, this is pretty cool. All right. Key is you only have 24 hours in your day and you want to maximize. Brother, that's something that I battle with all the time. I don't know if you watch my content, but I'm always on the go. I'm always doing something. And I feel like if I'm resting, I am doing myself a huge disservice because of all of this stuff constantly dropping and updating. I need to be able to keep up with this stuff. And I feel like if I'm not doing this, I am falling behind. And I'm sure you got to go. Where you going? Oh, really? I thought he was. Were they coming back here?
I thought they were going to be done earlier. I thought the movie was at 4. So like
it is at 4. What time is it?
Well, 7:30.
It might have been a long movie. Movies are freaking long now. Do you want me to come with you? All right. I'm gonna go pick up my son at the movie theater. He just had a date with a girl. His first date. But guys, thank you. I want you to hit subscribe if you want to join. Relentless, you've been awesome in here, dude. You've been you know, it's awesome being able to talk to somebody when I am live. So hit subscribe. I'm gonna jump on live later and continue this. Give me about half an hour, 45 minutes. I'll be back. You can stay on top of it by putting your CEO in charge, and instead of running for everything, you're running the right thing that matters to you. Dude, great advice, man. You're a good guy. Appreciate you jumping in here, and hit that subscribe button. I will be back in about 40 minutes, and we'll continue doing this. Thanks, guys. Agree. Mind of Manny. Thank you. You too, brother. We'll see you guys shortly.